Right then, welcome to Ryan's Road podcast number 29. I'm sure I checked, I'm sure it was 28, so I'm sure it's 29. I'm just going to go with that. Yes, happy enough with that. This week, James is not here. Ooh, cue sound effect and tumbleweed type thing. So yeah, James isn't here for his own reasons. Yeah, we'll leave that there. I've decided to sit where James normally sits. And then I thought, the microphone's fucking high. So I've just pissed around with, I've got the microphone stand like wedged in my chair and angled. Because I felt like the microphone was too high. So, yeah, there is that. In fact, it still feels like it's still not quite close enough to me. So I'm going to turn this and hope it doesn't mess up the whole podcast too much. It's alright, we're still first few minutes in. You're all understanding people, ain't you? Oh, if I can, I'll take a picture of this and I'll put it on my Instagram story so you can see how much of an idiot I'm being. This is so dumb. Just wedging stuff. That should be better. So yeah, I sat where James sits and went, whoa, that microphone's way too high. I'm not comfortable with that, so I've just, yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's also Monday, like, I normally record the podcast on a Friday evening or a Sunday evening, and then today would have been me scrambling around trying to get it edited and uploaded. But yeah, I didn't do it yesterday, because I've just fucking, yeah man, struggling at the minute guys, I'm struggling lately. It's difficult with life and family, money, you know, all the shit we normally talk about. And it's especially at the point, I'm sure a lot of you can relate, you know, where you're like, you get to the end of your day, you just want to fucking sit down, man. Like, you're spent emotionally, mentally, physically, like, you're just fucking spent. And that's how I'm feeling a lot lately. That's why I've been struggling with, like, my socials in general. Like, I'm behind on my fitness vlogs. I've still been exercising, granted, not as intensely as I'd built up to. But like the last vlog I got the vlog done. Like I've filmed the footage, but I ain't edited it for like 2 weeks. And then I did have, being honest with you, I came in here the weekend, I think, sometime last week, recently. Let's not focus too much on when. But yeah, I got in here, and I had every intention, I built myself up, I was like, right, come on, we can do this, we can get back on it. I'm sharing these stories, by the way, because I'm sure that you've all got similar ones you can relate to. I'm not just talking about myself for the fuck of it. Okay? I'm not looking for sympathy, I'm looking for people to go, like, you've had some shit like that similar, you're not the only one. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I got in here and I was like, I got these tutorials from a fitness channel that I'd recorded weeks ago, around the time I had COVID. And I was like, I'm finally going to edit them and put them up. And I'd spent a day doing them, originally recording them, and the wife had gone out with the kids, which was a rarity. And that's hard for me with my, like, PTSD issues, because I'm like spending time away from the kids when I should be with family, that sort of stuff. So if she goes out with the kids all day, I always feel very obligated to go as well. I feel bad staying behind. So that aside, so there's that, and then there's the odd time that happens, that's rare. So anyway, I previously spent the day recording it, blah blah blah, and then I got in here to do it and I couldn't find the footage. I was just like, what? I couldn't find it fucking anywhere. I went through everything and I must have deleted it. But because the iMac I've got is like apparently the shittiest iMac ever created. And when I say that, I don't mean my opinion. I mean my friend at Apple even fucking told me. He was like, what model you got? Because I said I was having problems with it. He went, oh yeah, that model. They're notorious. Terrible. So I was like, great. Because of that, I delete everything. So like when I record this podcast, I'll put the video in through iMovie just to layer on the audio, and then once it's done and uploaded onto the podcast platforms and YouTube and everything, I'll delete it straight off my computer. Like, gone. So it's not taking up any memory or anything, because this computer's like asking a toddler to fucking get dressed. Like, it just goes, nah! It's just a tit. So anyway, it was fucking gone, and I was struggling on the day anyway. I was having a bad fucking day. I was struggling with work. I was barely keeping it together that day, and it took every ounce of me to be like, come on, bro, we can do something positive with the day. Like, work had fucked up and whatnot. I hadn't earned much money that day, struggling for money at the minute, and I was like, well, I can at least do something productive with the socials and get the fucking tutorials done. And the footage weren't there. and I don't know how I didn't just break there. Like I was tearing, I was weeping. I did do a little video on my phone, but I didn't put it up. Sorry, it was shit. I didn't like how my hair looked or something daft. It was something like that. I remember watching it back, I was like, fuck, I just look like a real ugly cunt. Check me out. So yeah, that was like one of my little fucking moments. But that's just how it's fucking been lately, man. It's just been really tough. As you can tell, I've got no fucking concept for this week. Like I say, James in here, I'm struggling more than normal. But I'm like, I still just want to talk to you. I still just want to give you people out there. Because ideally, when I've got my shit together, I can get my head in a mindset where I can like articulate some things good for you, give you some good things to think on or ponder on and maybe realise and whatnot. But my worst case scenario, if I ain't got that in me, the best thing I can do is just talk to you about shit so that all my listeners, my few listeners, know that you ain't the only ones. And I'm alive. Like, no matter how bad my shit is, and it could be really fucking shit, it's like, I'm still breathing, man. I can still do tomorrow. Like, I can still try and do something the next day instead, sort of thing. So yeah, that's just fucking me at the minute. Money, work, blah blah blah. The minute it seems to be like I can earn enough money in the week, so I get to the weekend thinking, yeah man, I'm starting to get ahead. I've got a bit of money in the bank, sweet. And I get to Monday and I'm back to zero. Mainly because of the fucking Asda shop. Asda, if there's any like people that aren't British listening to this, Asda's a supermarket, like, you know, where we get our food from, groceries and whatnot, in the weekly shop that we do. So yeah, it's been difficult, obviously some shit going on. I've seen some examples of things, like from other people, that I thought I could maybe touch on. What was the one? There was this one fucking little situation, I had this week. You might relate to this, because I've got a stepdaughter. So she comes every other weekend, lives with the dad. How that happened is a story in itself. Anyway, and there's this whole thing about getting a fucking ear pierced, and the dad didn't want her to get a fucking ear pierced. It's just one of them things that becomes a thing over something. It's not a fucking thing, man. It's just something fucking daft. But anyway, and it brought up this thing that I've noticed that people can do. And it brings us back to that saying of like, a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. You all must have encountered this, like, I don't know, if you're in a trade or a profession and you know it well, inside and out, you've been doing it for years, you're fully trained or whatever, then you come across someone that like thinks they know a little bit about that or a lot about it, but they just fucking don't, so they're trying to talk to you, but you can listen to them talking, and they might be saying things that are similar to do with that specific skill or trade you've got, but you're there going, yeah, that ain't right. That's not right. That's just fucking ridiculous. And it's this little trap, because people they'll have their bullshit reasons for doing something. So this specific example was, what was it now? Let me get my words out. So what was actually happening was the individual had just gotten stubborn. They basically said no, built up to that, but then basically instead of like stepping away from themselves, going, actually, what's going on? It's just, no, I've said no, so no. It ain't fucking happening. No, putting my foot down, no. It's like, well, that's just being stubborn now. There's not actually any reason behind that. That's just ego. Full on fucking ego, bravado bullshit, right? So that's the actual reason, that's the actual fundamental thing behind it. But then the little knowledge, dangerous thing is that then this one took the knowledge of, because it was to do with the stepdaughter, blah blah blah. I'm saying blah blah a lot today. Sorry guys. And again, it's a bit of a shit example, but it's an example nonetheless. It said about how with kids you can't say no and then give in and let them do it, because then obviously that teaches them they can just get away with shit. The child ain't the toddler. The child's like fucking, it's bad, 10 or 11. I always forget. But I'm like, yeah, I do that with my 3-year-old, because he's fucking 3. Like, you don't do that with, like, older kids, because you can hold a conversation and not toddlers is what I'm getting at, like, kids. You can actually have a conversation with a child and talk to them. They can understand reasons why and why not. So they know. That's why kids will go, but why? because they know you're just in a fucking mood and you're being a dick. Like, it's like, yeah, but why? It's like, give them a real fucking reason why. Like, be fucking honest. No stupid bullshit reasons to just cover up your fucking ego. And like I say, I use that as a bit of a shitty example because it happened like 2 days ago. Pardon me. But you'll get that a lot in life as well, where people all have, normally it's an emotional issue. It's something emotional, so they're normally angry or upset. Normally like a strong emotion, but instead of being able to do that deep thing that a lot of people need to do and they never do, being able to step back away from themselves and actually ask themselves why they're acting the way they're acting and get to the root of what they're actually doing. Instead, they just cover it up with, yeah, because of this. Like, with arguments with partners, you could be like, oh no, you're just stubborn and you're tired, you probably had a shitty day at work and blah, 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 blah. And then you might just whip out some, like, generic thing of, oh, you never listen to me, or you're never fucking tidy enough, and, you know, just whip out something stupid and generic. Like, as I've already stated, I'm fucking slow this week. I'm not my most articulate, I'm not at my most fucking ping, firing on all cylinders. So sorry if I'm like trailing with this. But yeah, that's often a thing. So I'm saying this not for more a case of look out for when people do it because they're twats. More of be aware of yourself. Be aware of yourself when you're doing these things. Because a lot of the time it could be like I've already said, you're angry about something and wound up about something else completely unrelated, but you're just tired, and that tired feeling is so, like, it's really fucking difficult when you're tired and exhausted and you got something emotional going on, and then it's even fucking harder to grasp that, to be like, well, actually, it's just the circumstances. I'm going to flip this a bit, sorry, I'm going to go slightly off a tangent. I often refer to this as being, I'm so sorry, like a circumstantial situation. Like, I think a lot of couples break up and stuff because of how they are within a circumstance, but it's not actually how they are. So, like, you could have a couple in a particular set of circumstances that's just making them be irritable, like tired, stressy, snappy, and all that fucking shit. So when you got both of you like that, you can't communicate well, and then it just breaks up. But on the basis, fundamentally, it's like it's not actually an issue between the two people and their personalities. It's literally just down to their ability to cope with stress and fatigue. You see what I'm kind of getting at with that? Because that's one I see a lot, where like, oh god, this podcast is terrible. I will put it up because it just shows I'm fucking trying, guys. I'm trying. Trying. Like often, like I've learnt over the years with my own wife, like, so like anyone watching that's watched the whole series up to yet knows, like, I'm self-employed. We've got 3 young fucking kids. They're all like really close together. We don't have any fucking family help or support really, like nothing regular. So like, it's been fucking hard, and there's been times where, you know, the wife's fucking snappy and she ain't being very fucking nice, and it's fucking hard. And in my head, like, you know, if you're on the other end, you get that thought in your head of like, I've done nothing wrong, I don't deserve this, fuck you, we'll tell you what, you can fuck off then, and then it's just all blah, 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 and then nothing. And I've had them voices in my head. But instead what I say is, I know you're tired, I know you're stressed, I know you're worried about money, I know you're in pain, like if they're really pregnant or something, like I know you're really worried about X, Y and Z and blah, 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 and they're probably the reasons you're not communicating with me properly. But just so you're aware, it's not nice to be spoken to like that. Like, I don't appreciate it, it's not nice. I understand you're struggling with a lot of shit, but please, can we talk properly? And it's hard, really fucking hard, to talk to a person who's giving you shit when you know you've done nothing wrong. Really fucking difficult, but circumstances. Because I know in their moments, that's not my wife. In those moments, that's my wife with all these fucking stickers on. Like badges, slaps, anxiety, stress, money worries, just all these fucking things. And I've said this loads of times in my podcast, a lot of people have that that stress tolerance, that bar. I always like to think of things as that, like, you know, like in an old school game and you got your health bar, level bar and shit, your ammo, whatever it is. Either way, it's a bar, isn't it? And just thinking, like, each one of them adds up. So by the time it gets to doing something in your relationship, it's like, yeah, good luck. There ain't no room left for that. I'm too busy worried and stressed about all this other fucking shit. There's no way I could put the time or effort into that. So, guess what fails? The communication, and then later down the line, the relationship. Off it goes. Because it's fucking hard. I've always laughed. I say laughed. That's just me talking bullshit. At the saying of, to be fair, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say it out loud, like people. It has just been on, like, TV shows and shit. When they go, oh, it shouldn't be this hard. Right. When people are in, like, a new relationship or anything and they say, oh, it shouldn't be this hard, that's like a get out. That ain't because actually it's like, this shouldn't be this hard. Like, we're not meant for each other. It's actually, you're both just lazy cunts and you just haven't invested enough in the relationship because you can't be fucking arsed. Good relationships, good couples, good parents. This is like like husband-wife relationships, boyfriend-girlfriend relationships, friendship relationships, working relationships. Like, relationships aren't narrowed down to who you're banging. Like, it's any kind of relationship you've got with any other person. Like, you know, how you go between the two relationships and between you and another person. Where was I going with it? Yeah. You have to work at it. It's work. It's fucking work. But the rewards are greater. Like, anything in life. This ain't no different. It ain't an exception. Anything in life, if you want the fucking rewards at the end, you have to put in the work. You want to dig a new fucking pond in your garden, and you want that lovely pond you've always dreamed of having a pond. Don't ask me why I go with the pond. Start fucking digging. Every day you go back from work, get digging that hole a fucking bit, and eventually have that lovely fucking pond you wanted. You got to put in the work. You want to buy that fancy thing, you got to put the extra fucking hours in at work, do the overtime or whatever fucking profession you've got. Put in the work. Oh, you get that at the end. It's rare, as far as I'm aware, in relationships that it's like you meet and then it's just like ping straight off, and it's just like 10 years with, or 20 years, whatever, long-term relationship, like I say, friendship relationship or couple relationship, and you've not had to do anything. I bet even the couples or people, we'll go with couples with this one, that you see and it seems like, they're just like effortless sort of thing, that's just been easy from the day they met up to now. I bet they've had plenty of conversations behind closed doors sort of thing, you know, in their own home. I bet they don't publicly fucking argue and shout and whatnot. I mean, I bet there's plenty of people that look at me and my wife as a couple and think like that. It's like, we've got to put in fucking work. I've had to put in the fucking days, like I've already just said, when she's really fucking ratty and stressed and she's being a dick. And I'm like, yeah, I don't want you to talk to me like that, thanks. But I understand you're really fucking struggling because I'm a human. I'm no fucking robot. I'm a human. I only know these things because I feel them too. So I see the signs when other people are doing it. But because I'm able to step out and know, like I do it to myself, because that's what I'm talking, I'll know. Like, oh right, you're just being fucking stressy because of this and that, you've been snappy because of that and this, and blah 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 blah. So when other people are doing, like, oh look, there's those same signs. But because when it's someone close to you, you know the circumstances as well, you're like, oh well, you can put A and B together, and then you're like, well, right, they're being like that because of this, like, let's just fucking chill out. But it's your own emotions that tend to get in the way with that one. So yeah, that was a funny one for you. I'm going to flick the camera on and off because I'm getting like near half hour, I think, what, 22 minutes, something like that. As I already stated at the start of this one this week, I'm just not. Right, you know me, I don't plan these. I'm not at that stage yet in the podcast where I've got a fucking plan. Who knows if I ever will? Oh, we should do like a poll. There should be a bet. Oh, if there's like a betting thing in bet places. I don't do betting, can you tell? Where you could go and put bets on for Ryan's Road podcast when you think he's going to start pre-planning the damn things. Not gonna happen. Maybe one day. What I was toying with these, because as I said about getting to the end of the day and I'm fatigued and everything else, and obviously this week's podcast is a fucking shambles. It's hard because obviously it's money related in a way, but I was thinking about trying to do it in the morning. But like, I already do a workout in the morning. like for my fitness, because it's the only good time I've got to do it. I have to get up early, 6 till 7, do my workout. Then after that, it's helping get the kids ready for school, blah, blah, blah. So it'd have to be like between 9 and 10. I think I could. At the minute, on Tuesdays, I have my counselling for my PTSD at 10 till 11. So maybe once that's hopefully sorted in a few months, if it gets done in a few months, I don't know. It's hard working through my own shit. I could maybe use that time because I've already gotten used to having like going to work late on a Tuesday. But I think that'll be better because in the morning, you know, I'm a bit fresher. You know, I'm like a bit of a brown banana by the evenings. I'm not quite as fucking fresh. So yeah, I'm toying with that idea because what I could do is I could do it in the morning, talk to you guys, like I say, fresher. Might be a bit more, you know, firing on all cylinders. And then I can leave the shit. Because what I have to do, just to bore you, I have to put the audio in the video and import it into my iMovie. Quickly just edit the bit where I turn the camera on and off. That's the only editing I do. Everything in here is just fucking as it is. I do not change shit. And then I have to export it out of iMovie. And then once it's out and back onto just like my normal computer files, then I have to upload it to YouTube. So there's the waiting for it to import, there's the waiting for it to export, and then there's waiting for it to upload. So there's the three things. So what I could do is if I do it in the morning, I could quickly import it in and then select it. The weird thing is I can edit it while it's still importing. And then I select it to export and it will just export once it's finished importing. I know I'm boring the shit out of you. But what I'm getting is I could probably get it all done within a Tuesday because I could record it in the morning, do that, leave it, import and exporting while I'm at work then. And then when I get back from work, all I've got to do is run in here, grab it, click it into upload onto YouTube and the podcast platforms. So yeah, we might do that at some point. Because again, like I say, going late to work means I'm late to work. It means I'm earning less money. And at the minute, money's a fucking problem. I think it was last week I spoke about my wholesaler, didn't I? Snapping at me a bit. Oh, that was a good one. I messaged the mother yesterday. I went to message to ask for some money towards buying my boys some rugby boots because I took them to rugby the weekend because we live right next to my town's rugby club. Before I did that, I thought, hang on, I borrowed some money off my mum like a few weeks ago. I don't remember paying it back. So I said, did I send you that money back? She's like, no, not yet. I was like, bollocks. Fucking great. Just another thing to add onto my list of people that I need to catch up with fucking money with. Yay. Oh God, I might just have to wrap it up there, guys. I've tried my best. Like I say, I like to put the relatability across. Like, life ain't fucking easy, man. It's hard and the struggles, and it's tough. And you're not the only one. But I mean, I'm struggling at the minute, but I'm still managing to get up in the morning and do something with my workouts. I'm probably not doing them as intensely as I did. I did this morning. I went back weighted. Last week I didn't, but I was kind of working my way up to it. But I'm still getting up every fucking morning. I'm still fucking working, man, and looking after the wife and like taking the kids fucking focal blocks. I took them rugby. I took them for the first jiu-jitsu lesson the weekend. So I'm not like giving up on life completely. It's more my social side of it, my YouTube, my podcast and everything. I'm like, because that takes that extra level of energy and effort to do that on top of being a dad, parent and fucking, you know, provider, tradesman. So yeah, I'll tell you what, it's been since I had COVID, you know. Before I had COVID and the missus had COVID, I had a good fucking rhythm, man. I was getting on my podcast. I think, if I remember rightly, I might have had 1 or 2 in the bank, which means like I was ahead. I like to have a podcast ahead, sort of thing. So like if I am genuinely sick and I can't do a podcast, I've got like a bit of a buffer. But yeah, I was on that. I had the podcast fucking clips coming out on Thursdays because I started editing the podcast into clips to put snippets up. I was on it with my vlogs, my jiu-jitsu vlogs and my morning workout vlogs. Like, I was on it and had a nice rhythm. Like, I weren't overly stressed too much with getting that done within my routine of life. Like, it was a rhythm. Like, me and the missus knew which days I went in the studio, and we'd had a couple trial runs at different evenings, different days, different times, until we got down to one where, like, yeah, this suits us now. And we just knew that those evenings, when I was in the studio those evenings and I was editing and getting it done. But yeah, I had COVID and the missus had COVID, so I didn't work for 3 weeks because after a week and a half of me having it, she got it. And then yeah, just fucking since then, I just can't get my rhythm back. I mean, that was like a month ago now. Might be longer. But it's been a right fucking struggle to try and to pull that back. I can't even remember what days I used to go in the studio now. I think it was a Wednesday and a Friday. So I literally can't remember. All I know is when I get to the evening now, I'm like, oh, I've got the kids in bed, I've had dinner, I'm like, I just want to sit, man, I want a cup of tea, I want to chill. I just want to play some fucking Pokemon. Just like, get away from it for a bit. Just worry about what deck I've got and who the fuck's going against me. And all that lovely cool Pokemon shit that you know I've been banging on about. If you play Pokemon trading card game online, add me on, I believe it's Ryan's Road 22 is my like tag on Pokemon. So yeah, there is that. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up there, guys, because I'm wavering. I'm faltering. And I don't want too much of the podcast to be more of me talking about how I'm struggling with the podcast. Because no one wants to hear that, do they? I've tried giving you a bit of nuggets this week. I just see, so when I've got ideas like that, I'd love to be able to sit, think about that point, and like bullet point some shit, and be like, oh yeah, right, I can word it this way, here's a good anecdote, here's a good way of explaining that thing. Whereas at the minute I'm like, oh yeah, it's that thought in my head about that thing, it's something like this, you know, you get the gist. And that's about the best you get from me today. Right, so I'm going to fuck off. I'm going to put a picture on my Instagram story of this fucking microphone setup because I think it's funny. And other than that, don't be afraid of the day. Like, days are hard, but there's always the next day. Like, just try and get through if it's a really, really bad day, just go through the motions, just get up anyway, just get through the day, and then try and improve on that the next day. But don't be afraid of it. We can do it. We can all do it. We all have to. We're all going to do it. If you can get a good reason why to motivate you, it's even better. If it's, you know, for a loved one, family, or a goal you've got in mind. Or I've entered a jiu-jitsu competition. I'll throw that in there. Oh, I think is it like 2 weeks or something? I can't remember. No gi, so I won't be wearing the gi pyjama thing. I'll just be in like rash guard, but I've entered a little comp. So I'm going to be my first comp, so I might vlog it on my fitness channel. Because that could be cool. Be fun, get my ass kicked because I'm just fucking barely training at the minute. But I was like, fuck it. Because the last competition that come up, I was like, oh, I've barely trained and blah blah blah, I've been here. And then this next one come up, I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Like, I'll train when I can, when I feel like I can. Try and keep doing my morning workouts, and I'll just go and try and choke some cunt out with a guillotine. Guillotine Gibbo, that's my go-to. It'd be nice actually, because when I'm in me training at my gym, like, I try not to guillotine people, mostly because they know I'm going to guillotine them, because they know that's what I like to do. But in a comp, I'm like, I can let it go. And it's the one submission I've got that I can do quite smoothly, and I can land quite quickly as well. If there's an opening for it, I can fucking shoot for it, because I can just see it. But every other submission I need more time to set it up and think about it, because I'm still only a white belt. So, yes, right. I'm going to go, I'm going to leave you, I'm going to try and regroup with myself. One thing I will say is, I've done stage 1 of getting guests on, which is I've emptied the studio. So you couldn't see before, but like behind the camera was just a pile of Sky Electric boxes. Underneath this chair that I've got was just all my Lego sets. So it was fucking tight and terrible. So yeah, I've emptied it all out. So it's only studio stuff in here now, just my main chair and this little bench thing I'm sitting on. And I've got the microphones in my Amazon wish basket. So once I've caught up on all my other debt things, bills I'm behind on and whatnot, there's 150 quid in my Amazon basket for 3 new microphones, which I'm then going to set up properly in positions, and might move the seats around a bit as well. So it'll be 3 proper seated positions with a microphone comfortable, similar to how this is looking if you're watching on YouTube. And yeah, I've got a few people that have asked, and they said they'd be happy to come on and just, you know, talk about life and their stories and whatnot. So I've done stage 1. I managed to empty the studio in the week and get all my shit in the loft. Yeah, so just thought I'd let you know about that. So we're getting there. So if I can fucking compose myself and try and get back on form for next week, I'm hoping, fingers crossed, in a month or so, I'll be able to afford to get the new microphones. Finishing on a burp, how classy. Right, I love you all. I'm going to leave it there. Don't be afraid of the day. If you want to fucking talk, you can always message me on Instagram, Facebook and shit, you know, if you're struggling with yourself and you want someone to fucking yak to, even if you don't want me to actually tell you anything, you just want to write it down to someone that you know ain't going to judge you or anything, fucking message me. Right, love you all. I'll speak to you, see you, etc. next week. Just going to go for it, aren't we? Fuck it. We don't need him. I don't know. Oh. I don't know if we're about to do it sitting here. This feels fucking weird. I've got a microphone in my face. It's right in my face, look. You know what I mean? That ain't fucking right. It's meant to be like here, because I normally sat in my chair, but I thought I'd try sitting here this week. Could I lean it? This. Could I fucking lean that? Holy shit, am I onto something? Fucking hell, this looks like a professional fucking setup, doesn't it, eh? Need to turn you. What was I trying to fucking do? I was trying to get that. Right, I'm gonna stop faffing now. I'm just gonna go with that. Okay. I didn't bring any water. Oh, this is terrible. I'm panicking. I'm hyperventilating. I'm anxious. Ugh. Sorry. I am sorry. I'm still fine to say sorry. Till I'm out of whack this week. Right then. Welcome to.